Hey, thank you, Anna. Thank you to ZK Validator for having me here. My name is Xiao Zhang. I'm from the zCloak network project. So I will be talking about our approach that we use to protect data privacy with the ZKSTARK virtual machine. So we are now living in a world of big data and cloud computing. We are used to the pattern that we have to send our data to third parties in exchange for services. And we all know that in this process, our user data could be disclosed, misused, or sold for profit. But there's basically nothing we can do about it at this moment. So it came to us that someday that we think maybe we could change this. And we were thinking whether it is possible that people can use their data for computation or analysis without sending their data to third parties. But that means you can do those analysis or computation of your data in your own device, such as in a cell phone or in your own PC. So to achieve that, we're facing two problems. To prove to a third party that you are doing things correctly, first they will need to ask, are you using authentic data? So we need to prove that we are using real and authentic data to them. And this has some solutions already, such as you can commit your data to a blockchain, or you can store the data that you want to use in a verifiable credential and have it attested by a trusted party or parties. And there are projects in the ecosystem already doing this, such as Kelt protocol. So this part is kind of a solved problem. And the other question a third party might ask is that whether you are doing your computation in a correct way. And I think people who are familiar with zero knowledge proof knows that this is exactly the kind of problem zero knowledge proof is solving. That is to prove computational integrity. And we have been using the term self-proven computation to let people to understand this in an easier way. Basically, you do your computation on your own data, and at the same time, you will be able to prove that you have done it correctly. And this part is the focus of the zCloak network project. And in our approach, we have used ZKSTARK instead of ZKSTARK for several reasons, because it has several benefits. We all know that Starks are generally much faster for proof generation and verification. It is quantum computing resistant, and it doesn't really need a trust setup, which is a more decentralized way to do the computation. But we know that zero knowledge proof has been around for quite some time, but there are not that many applications using it. Also, the approach that we just mentioned, we want to do general purpose computations on user data. And there is one huge problem here for old way of using zero knowledge proof. That is, you have to regenerate a circuit for SNARKs or AIR for STARKs every time you change your algorithm. So this process is very time consuming and it's very tedious. People do not want to do that. Every time you slightly change your algorithm, you have to regenerate a circuit. That's just very time consuming and to do. So for us, we have used a technology that is called a ZKSTARK virtual machine. It can be used for proof generation and verification for general purpose computations. As such, people do not have to write the circuit or the AIR for STARKs by hand anymore. They can just describe their algorithm using the assembly language of this virtual machine, and a proof will be automatically generated and verified for them in the virtual machine. And our project is quite flexible. Actually, we plan to be a parachain, or maybe at the beginning phase, a parathread in Polkadot, and we'll be able to provide this Stark-based proof generation and verification service to other parachains in the ecosystem. So that's what we call zero knowledge proof as a service. And we are actually thinking about the possibility to apply for a common good parachain slot to provide this service, because at the beginning phase of our project, at least for now, we are not planning to issue our own tokens. We can charge a little bit of service fee for the service we provide, and we'll see whether we can land as a common good parachain in Polkadot. And we have also applied and got a Web3 Foundation grant, and also completed it by the end of last year, I think. So to go a little bit deeper into the technology we're using we're using a ZKSTARK virtual machine. The name of the project is actually dstuff.vm. It's open source project in GitHub. It's written in Rust. So in the middle, this is the scenario when users and verifiers do their work. So on the left side, we are building a user client. It could be an app in your cell phone or an extension in a browser. Basically, you write your algorithm as a program that is described by the assembly language of this virtual machine, and you have your private input data that you can send into this virtual machine. This virtual machine will do the computation, and it will generate the Stark proofs, and it will generate some hashes for a verifier to verify your computation process to get a pass or fail result. So we will be building a verifier network based on the substrate blockchain using off-chain workers for Stark proof storage and verification. And there will also be staking and slacking mechanisms built into it. So yeah, this is what we're building with the zCloak network project as a blockchain using this ZKSTARK virtual machine. Some very interesting use cases that could be unlocked by this do your own computation, your own device approach. I can give you some examples. For example, in DeFi applications, we're thinking about using real-world credit score to power DeFi applications. So it can bring a whole new, I think, a bunch of DeFi applications, such as using a credit score to get more money, to borrow more money using the same amount of collaterals. Or you can also use it as a modifier for some DeFi applications. And for applications that may use your identity, we can preserve the privacy of yourself. You can prove some attributes about yourself, such as your age, your income, or your sex, but without writing these details of your personal information to a blockchain. And we can even go to the extent that we can use your biometric data, such as your face features, your fingerprints, but without writing any of this detailed information to a blockchain. But you can use them to unlock certain applications that is running in Polkadot for financial and industrial applications. And it's also possible to use this to build a ZK NFT. That is a project we're thinking about right now. Because NFT can be used not only for art, it can also be used for financial applications such as your contract, your invoice. Those things can all be made into NFTs. And sometimes people or the trading parties of this NFT, they do not want everybody to know the details of the things that they're trading. So we can use the zCloak network to help you to preserve the privacy of your NFT without telling people what it really is, but still you will use the NFT on the blockchain. You will be able to generate it on the blockchain. You will be able to trade it in DeFi, for example. Yeah, that's so much about our project, and we are building this network. I think waiting for Rococo to be able to board us, and we're waiting to interact with other parachains in the Polkadot ecosystem. And you are highly welcome to reach out to us. And we always welcome new ideas and people who are interested in our project. We can discuss more. Thank you.